I never thought a man wearing an HOA badge would raise a hand at a child, especially mine. It happened in broad daylight right outside the community center. My boy Luke was standing near the bulletin board posting flyers for the school fundraiser. Then came a sound I'll never forget, a slap, sharp and hollow, echoing off the brick walls. When I turned, the man standing over my son wasn't a stranger. It was Harold Lance, our self-appointed neighborhood enforcer, the same guy who fined me for a crooked mailbox last spring. Luke stood frozen, hand on his cheek, the look in his eyes. That mix of confusion and humiliation, it hit harder than the slap itself. The crowd froze. A few parents gasped. Someone's phone clattered to the sidewalk. Harold barked. He shoved me first. His voice carried that same arrogance he used at every HOA meeting, the kind that turns rules into weapons. But I knew my boy. Luke's the quiet Paul was the first to mow our neighbor's lawn without being asked. He'd never pick a fight. I took a breath and said nothing. Instead, I looked up because I knew something Harold didn't. The HOA had installed new security cameras 2 weeks ago. I'd been on the committee that approved them. The truth was already recorded. When the police arrived, Harold's story started to crumble. The principal escorted him off the property while the other parents whispered behind their hands. Luke's cheek was red, his eyes glossy. I put my arm around him and said quietly, he just ended his own career. That night, I sat on my porch under the same flag my father flew above this house. Coffee mug in hand, I opened the HOA charter, 92 pages of rules Harold had loved quoting at me. I highlighted one line: any board member who engages in misconduct toward a resident or their family is subject to removal and civil penalty. Harold had written his resignation without realizing it. I called Deputy Morgan, an old friend from the sheriff's office. Within an hour, he stopped by to collect a copy of the security footage. That's assault, he said, eyes narrowing. He won't talk his way out of this. The next morning, Harold showed up at my doorstep, uninvited, pacing like a caged dog. You think this will end well for you? He hissed. I leaned against the post, calm as the wind through the cedar fence. It'll end the way it's supposed to, I said. By evening, a restraining order was in motion. But Harold wasn't done. 2 days later, I got an email from his cousin, some small-time lawyer from the next county, accusing me of defamation and unauthorized video use. I almost laughed. Then I got serious. I forwarded it to my college buddy who's now a municipal attorney. He replied in 10 minutes flat. He's bluffing. You're protected under evidence collection law. Together we drafted a response quoting Harold's favorite section of the bylaws, now turned squarely against him. By the following afternoon, the lawyer backed off. Harold was running out of ammo. Still, I wanted every truth in daylight. I filed a records request with the HOA, and what came back made my stomach turn. 3 previous complaints. 2 harassment warnings. 1 incident with a teenage girl taking yearbook photos near his property. All resolved quietly. The next HOA meeting was set for Friday evening in the community hall. It's beige walls, bad coffee, same tired faces. Except this time, half the town showed up. Harold sat up front, acting like nothing had happened. He opened his binder, ready to defend himself. Before he could speak, I connected my laptop to the projector. The room dimmed, and the video began, Harold's hand rising. My son flinching, time stomp glowing in the corner. The silence afterward was thicker than any speech. I closed the laptop. Section 7.3, I said, sliding a printed copy across the table. Immediate removal upon evidence of physical misconduct. The board president's voice trembled, effective immediately. Mr. Lance is suspended pending review. Not pending, I corrected softly. It's already filed with the sheriff. Harold's face drained to chalk, stumbled over his chair, knocking papers onto the floor as whispers filled the room. That night, my phone buzzed at 2:14 a.m. motion detected on the porch camera. There he was, standing at the end of my driveway, muttering to himself. I caught only fragments. Ruined me. He'll regret this. I sent the clip to Deputy Morgan. Within 20 minutes, a patrol car rolled by. Morgan texted, "Stay inside." Documented by Sunrise, the restraining order was stapled to Harold's door. 3 days later, he tried one last stunt stealing mail from my box. What he didn't know was that I'd left a decoy envelope inside with an AirTag. The ping led straight to his truck. Morgan's laugh came through the phone. "Congratulations. That's mail tampering. Federal offense." At sunset, under porch lights and cricket songs, Harold was led away in handcuffs. The same man who once bragged about lawn heights and mailbox spacing now kept his eyes on the ground. Justice didn't roar that night. It whispered weeks past. Luke healed inside and out. The neighborhood changed. 2 people who once hid behind blinds started waving again. One neighbor left a pie on our porch with a note, "Thanks for standing up. You reminded us rules are supposed to protect people, not punish them." I looked at that pie, then at my father's flag swaying under the porch light, and thought, this is what legacy feels like. Not revenge. Resolution. Dignity is louder than anger when you hold the proof. If you believe calm justice always finds its way, subscribe and share this story. Because in every neighborhood, someone's waiting for a voice that doesn't shout, just stands firm.